The president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has become Donald Trump's latest victim. Ramaphosa visited Washington for friendly talks, but got a lot more than he bargained for when Donald Trump absolutely ambushed him about the dire situation for whites in South Africa. The president prepared a montage of the genocide that is happening right now in his country against white farmers, which stunned onlookers.
President, I must say that we have, we have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that, is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and I have to, it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would, and turn the lights down, and just put this on, it's right behind you, Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do, with or without you. People are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell?
This is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road you have crosses. Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen.
The video shown by US President Donald Trump during his meeting with President Cyril Ramaphosa in the Oval Office on Wednesday, it did not depict mass graves of white farmers killed in South Africa. Trump claimed that the footage showed burial sites of over 1,000 white farmers allegedly murdered in what he referred to as, quote-unquote, a white genocide. However, the video was actually from a community protest which was held in KwaZulu-Natal in September of 2020, following the killing of Glenn and Vida Rafferty. Now, this was on their farm a month earlier. The video is one of several misleading claims made by Trump to support some of the false narrative of a so-called white genocide in South Africa.
Trump doubled down on this, showing newspaper articles of atrocities against white people, further humiliating Ramaphosa.
These are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. Horrible death. Death. I don't know. To pick anyone. White South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I mean, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently.
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it isn't true?
Well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried.
We mustn't mischaracterize things as a genocide and the like. It's not the case at all, because as we've seen, when you mischaracterize things like that and this misinformation gets out, it does have real-world consequences. And we've seen with the United States what those real-world consequences are. And I really hope that during the upcoming visit to Washington, the president is going to be able to put the facts before his counterparts and to demonstrate there's no mass expropriation of land taking place in South Africa. There's no genocide taking place. Yes, we have crime issues, but as a government, we have committed resources and policing to deal with it.
Crime affects both black and white. I've been a victim of crime on the farm, and I'm not white, right? So I don't even think along those lines. We certainly don't. We're not inclined to think along those lines. We're not basing it on color at all. It's an issue of vulnerability, I believe, and as a result, farmers are easier targets.
We have too many deaths, but it's across the board. It's not only white farmers, it's across the board. And we need technological help. We need Starlink at every little police station. We need drones. I actually got drones donated for the peace parks to stop elephant and rhino poaching. And his predecessor stopped the importation because he said the United States would spy on us. I mean, US basics, the ridicule. So if you can help us. Remember, sir, you and I lived in New York in the 70s. We never thought New York could be what it became. 2 commissioners, a tough mayor. We need your help to stop this awful killing. But it's across the board.
Cyril Ramaphosa brought his best diplomatic self to this meeting, but nothing could have prepared him for this multimedia ambush that President Trump laid out with video, with printed out news stories. This was a laundry list of debunked conspiracy theories. Some South Africans are telling me this is AfriForum propaganda. AfriForum is a white Afrikaner lobby group that's considered a white nationalist organization by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Almost everything that President Trump said in the Oval Office is not true, was inaccurate, has been repeatedly debunked.
By now, we've heard a lot of allegations about the AfriForum being a racist organization. Kim Heller was one of the first white women to come out and expose AfriForum for being a racist organization towards black people and black leaders. Now, recently on an EFF podcast, Julius Malema came out and exposed and even went to the extent of calling AfriForum a terrorist organization that is planted here in South Africa to destroy black leaders and black organization and representative parties. So I'm gonna play a clip of him speaking about why he believes this organization, AfriForum, is a terrorist organization, and he also goes into the extent of claiming that he's gonna ban AfriForum from operating in South Africa. Take a listen.
If we take over government, we're going to ban AfriForum because we cannot have an organization that advocates purely racial hatred and say it is a legitimate organization. Our constitution does not allow that. And therefore, we need a decisive government that is going to say this is a terrorist organization and we can't coexist with it. It has to fall. So AfriForum will fall because it represents backwardness. And the ANC's inability to deal with white supremacy and white arrogance is what gives life to this kind of organization. I mean, imagine there is an organization formed that says we don't want women. I mean, it will not see unheard of. It will not see the next hour. Yeah, if the day it gets formed, that the day is going to be banned, and that's why we are also advocating for serious restrictions and banning of foreign-funded NGOs, which serve the interest of the imperialist forces. You sit here, you're thinking this is a genuine organization, is fighting for the poor and all of that. But when you go to check who gives them money, is George Soros, is the Rothschild, is the US aligned companies.
Why did you find it necessary to have this briefing and explain your position as AfriForum on the Expropriation Act, but also a bill, but also the remarks made by Donald Trump?
Well, I think it was important because what we've seen in the last week was a concerted effort to blame AfriForum, but actually it's just an effort to make sure that the real culprits are not being held accountable and that you get some kind of scapegoat. If you look what happened, the people that should be held accountable is President Ramaphosa, it's leaders of the ANC. And the reasons why I'm saying so, it is President Ramaphosa that signed the Expropriation Act, not AfriForum. It is ANC leaders that made radical remarks with regard to land, not AfriForum. And it is the government that's not stopping specifically land grabs that we are seeing. It's not AfriForum. Also, the Bela Act that targets specifically of the Afrikaans community was signed by the president. Also, it's the president and the ANC-led government that is not remaining neutral with regard to foreign policy. We have two big trade partners, China and the US, they're the two biggest. So it's in our interest. It's loyal to the people of South Africa not to get involved in international power struggles.
I have expressed my concern and my disappointment at what AfriForum and Solidarity have been doing in spreading misinformation about their own country in the United States. And I regard that as being non-patriotic, because when you're a patriot of a country, the best you do is to resolve the problems or issues you have in country rather than begin to damage the sovereignty of your country by running off to other countries and expecting them to take action against your own country. Because in part, through what they have done, they have instigated the action that is now being taken against the people of South Africa. And the fact whether that is treasonous or not is a matter that obviously our law enforcement agencies need to look at. The National Prosecuting Agency needs to look at that. But I take a dim view, in fact, a very negative view of what has ensued as they run around the world, bad-mouthing their own country and putting their country into disrepute, not by things that are happening, but by misinformation. And that also leads to dividing our own nation, because what they are seeking to do is to spread racist statements about their own country when we are involved in building a nation out of the throes of a very divided situation that we suffered under. So I am hugely disappointed and take a dim view of what AfriForum and Solidarity have done.
But there's another question here. Where did Trump get his information from? To understand that, let's go back in history. Afrikaners are a white ethnic group. They descended from Western Europeans. In the 16th century, they settled in South Africa. Many of them were traditionally farmers, so they were called Boers. It means farmers in Dutch. In 1948, South Africa's Afrikaner-led government introduced apartheid, racial segregation in the country. This ended only in 1994. That's when the black people were allowed to vote for the first time. Nelson Mandela and the African National Congress came to power. Currently, there are 2.5 million Afrikaners. That's around 4% of the population. Earlier, Trump gave a few members of the Afrikaner community refugee status. He said a genocide was taking place, so 60 of them arrived in the US and they were granted asylum. Then Elon Musk stoked the fire. He shared a video of a South African leader saying, "Kill the Boers." This fueled the claims of genocide. In fact, Musk went a step further. He said he wasn't allowed to do business in South Africa despite being a South African himself because he was white. That's what Musk said.
I have many friends from South Africa, but many of those friends are not, they can't go back. I have Elon is from South Africa. I don't want to get Elon involved. That's all I have to do, get him into another thing. But Elon happens to be from South Africa. This is what Elon wanted.
But you see, facts don't support any of this. There are no reports of genocide in South Africa. The country has one of the highest murder rates in the world, yes. Last year, there were nearly 77,000 murders in South Africa. 77,000 murders. Only 8 of them were farmers. It's not clear if they were black or white. Either way, 8 killings is hardly a genocide. And the South African court agrees. It has dismissed claims of genocide in the country. Also, one of the clippings that Trump showed wasn't even from South Africa. What he showed as proof was not from South Africa. It was a months-old blog post featuring a photo from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So at this point, one might ask, is Trump just being a bully?